Time to see what the wizards are up to.
Hey, everybody.
Hey, everyone. How are you?
We have a change of venue here. We are now in Debbie's office.
Technical difficulties. Can you all hear us? Because we're using a new microphone and webcam down here. Let us know if you have any trouble hearing us. But yes, my other computer, great. My other computer just, I don't know if it's forcing an install or what it's doing, but I always restart right before we do a live stream. Well, not right before, but like 10, 15 minutes before. And I don't know, it's still going. I don't know what it's doing. So we moved down here on my other computer and in a different location. So thanks for waiting till 11:30. And then we had to wait till Facebook, you need to have a certain amount of time before you can start a stream. So we will get right into it. So let's see. We have a lot of things to cover today. I put some of it in the summary for this event, but Rob has some new Sorcerer, new KAPOW.
All kinds of new toys.
Did you bring them?
I'll have to go grab those.
Maybe while Rob's talking, I'll go grab those. We have some miniatures to show from Robot Quest.
Cool prototypes.
Yeah, so we'll start with, we do a giveaway every week. So last week, I just want to congratulate Stephanie, who won Guardians of Gowana, which is our new epic card game expansion box set that backers will be getting soon.
Yay!
People who back the Kickstarter. And it'll then eventually be coming out in retail later this year as well. And while we're talking about Guardians of Gowana, I'll give a quick update because I know it will get asked on how's everything going with the Kickstarter, the Star Realms High Alert, Epic with Guardians of Gowana, and Epic Duels, the new sets. It's going really well. I mean, I know we're super delayed and things have taken forever, but right now in Asia and Australia, which is Etherworks and VFI, they're starting to pack packages. They're in the final stages before they start fulfillment. So I'm very hopeful that, you know, within the next week, they will start shipping out packages. We'll give you an update each week on this call at this point. And in the other regions, the inventory has arrived, has not yet been processed in. So Games Quest and in Germany, and then at D6 in Iowa, which is where we're shipping from in the US, we have inventories being processed in, the data, everything's being worked on, and I don't have a date of when they're going to fulfill, but again, in the next couple of weeks, it shouldn't take them more than a couple of weeks to get things processed in and to, you know, start packing things up and getting things out. But we will give another update next week and let you know where things are. But things are moving forward, which is fantastic.
We're through all the hard parts, the shipping overseas, and getting stuff where it needs to be. So so we're getting very close to the finish line on Star Realms High Alert and all the awesome new epic sets. So we're really excited for that. And so this contest, how do people enter it?
Well, Saffron will post the link below. It's a Gleam contest, so it varies each week, but basically you enter by joining various of our social media channels, marketing channels, and we may change this up over time as well and have some different ways for people to participate. But for this week, it will be participating in some of our social media channels. So for this week, so that was last week. The giveaway this week that Rob's talking about, if you would like to enter, we're giving away KAPOW Volume 2. KAPOW is one of my absolute favorite games. It's super fun. We all played it and fell in love with it and wanted to publish it. It has a lot of dice rolling. I never knew I liked dice games so much until I played KAPOW. It has these really cool dice where showing the webcam where you add faces to the dice. You play a superhero or villain. So Rob's going to show some of the solo boards so you can see what that's all about. But I highly recommend that you enter that because it's an awesome game. Just even if you already backed it, to give as a gift. Anyone, that's the game I'm going to play with my mom.
Nice.
Remake. So moving on, I want to mention that we are participating in Aw Shucks. Shut Up and Sit Down is a really funny review channel. They do really cool videos. And this is their event. It's usually in person in Vancouver, and we've never participated, but this year we're... What's happening?
Yeah, some random audio coming in.
It's on my phone. Man in the Mirror is playing on my phone that I was holding in my lap. I don't know what's going on with me today. Sorry about that. I was like, what's happening? It sounds like one of those like Holderness family videos or something. But so Shucks will be running demos. Chris Swan, who did the videos with me on how to play Tabletop Simulator, how to play Tabletopia, will be running live demos. If you want to participate, come and check it out. He's awesome. He knows all of our games. So we will have a schedule, but if you want to demo any of our games, just come. We'll have like a virtual booth. There'll be like a virtual Discord there. I don't know exactly how it's going to work, but come and say hi, and we can casually set up demo times as well. And that's this weekend. Shucks. And as usual, every Wednesday you can battle our game designers in Star Realms. And this week it is Darwin Castle. So come on.
He's back.
Wednesday. He's back. He was on vacation for a week, so he's ready to battle. And just challenge him. His username's Darwin. And at 7 p.m. Eastern time, 48-hour game. You can use any sets that you want. And if you beat him, you get some credits. And you can also just watch. It's fun to watch as well. And on our Twitch channel, I also host when other people are streaming as well. So if you follow us, subscribe to us on Twitch, you'll see when other people are streaming as well. And if people let me know they're streaming, I will also host them.
So we got Star Realms tournaments in the app. We're going to do this week. So last week, the schedule worked out pretty well. We kind of like how we've got times that work for, for East Coast US, West Coast US, EU, and Asia. And Australia, of course. So we're pretty happy with the schedule. We're gonna keep this in place this week as well, and see how it goes. We've gotten really great participation, and we're excited about it. Also, I'm going to be working on sort of bigger picture organized play stuff for Star Realms and for Epic, our digital apps that we have these abilities to run tournaments in. So that's going to be a lot of fun. So we'll have some announcements of cool stuff we're doing in the upcoming weeks. And of course, we also have the arena format that's always available in Star Realms. This week's arena is really fun. I actually already completed the arena run because I was just having so much fun with it. So this week's format, the first time you buy a ship during your turn, it goes into your hand. And the first time you buy a base during the turn, it goes on top of your deck. And you can do both of those things. So if you can buy a ship and a base in the same turn, one's going in your hand, one goes on top of your deck. Maybe the ship that you buy lets you draw a card, and you can buy that base on top of your deck and then draw it and play it right away. So you can set up all kinds of crazy cool combos. And ally abilities are sort of extra powerful because you may be able to buy a ship right off the trade row to activate the ally ability on a card that you have in your hand. Trade's better than it normally is. Trade's always good early in Star Realms, but later in the game, trade can become less powerful. But with the ability to buy stuff directly from the board into your hand, suddenly, wow, trade's pretty exciting. If you've got a freighter in for trade, okay, that opens up, maybe there's an 8-cost ship on the table you can buy. So it really turns the game on its head in a lot of fun ways. So if you haven't checked out this week's arena, I definitely recommend it. Crazy things happen. It's a lot of fun and lots of opportunities for a strategic player to make really, really cool plays. So you definitely check that one out. So we got KAPOW. Do you want to check comments before we jump in there?
And for anyone that's joined, it looks like these were just posts from thanks Star Ranger likes a new scenery. So for anyone who joined a little late, we had some technical difficulties.
Minor.
With
nothing
my
worked,
system upstairs. We couldn't get it to start up. So We're in my office down here. And the reason why we have so much space behind us is because I'm obsessed with playing on the Oculus reality. So I need a lot of empty space in my office. So yeah, so
Yeah, Debbie, you playing Supernatural back there?
I
right?
love Supernatural. I'm obsessed. It's sort of like Beat Saber, but it's a much harder workout, and it's you feel like you're outside, but you're actually obviously not. You're in like Iceland and all different countries, all different locations. It's really cool. And doing really hard workouts, which is good for me, guys, especially after COVID. So Rob's been working really hard on the solo boards for KAPOW, which are available for testing. If people are interested in playing these, the new characters and the new heroes and villains and some of the solo boards are available. I'm not sure if these two are up yet.
Yeah, there's a process where basically I design the stuff, and then the graphics design team puts it together, and then the tabletop simulator guy puts it up onto Tabletop Simulator. This is Fuse, one of the new villains from KAPOW Volume 2. And every one of the characters is going to have their PvP side and their solo board side. So the one with the full art is the PvP side. So if you're playing Fuse versus somebody else, you'd have the board that side up. If you're playing solo, you grab any character you want, you play the PvP side of it, and then you pick whoever you want to play against, and you simply just you grab their dice and set their health. So you can the dice are sort of in that green colorful bar. There you see some colorful blocks. Those tell you which dice you're grabbing, and then there's the health number. Set your health, and then you turn. Once you have those things, you turn the board over to the solo board side, and you take your turn as normal. You roll your dice, and then you place them wherever you like, just like you were playing against another player live. But then once your roll is set, you're like, okay, this is what I'm doing for the turn. You then pick up the bad guy's dice and you roll those, and then you start at the top of the board here, and you work your way down. You do this. You activate the first one, then the second one, and then if you have the dice necessary to activate these as they go, then so for example, if you had the two wilds and the fist icon, you would activate the Molotov and you'd place dice in that. If you didn't have those dice, you'd move on to the next thing and fill in everything that it can do going down. And then once all the bad guys once you've gone down the entire board for the bad guy, then you would treat it just like you're ready to lift your board in the PvP version, and you resolve your effects and their effects simultaneously. This week we're showing off Fuse and Mindset. These guys are fun because they have the ability to do multiple attacks. So the Molotov ability actually lets Fuse launch 3 attacks. So he's beating you with these multiple arms, throwing Molotovs at you. It's chaos. So when he does that in the solo board, basically he's going to get 1 point of attack, and then he'll probably get more. You might get more attack from his other effects as you go down his board, and then you apply that attack 3 separate times. But each time the player gets their defense against it. So if he's going to do one of these multiple attacks, oh boy, is it important to have some defense. So let's say he does a multi-attack. Now it's going to use up a bunch of his dice, 2 wilds and a might. So that's a pretty big die investment for him. So he probably won't have a ton of dice damage left from his other stuff. But let's say he gets a total attack of maybe 7. But then that applies 3 times. He does 7 and 7 and 7. If you have no defense, you can be taking 21. But if you have a defense of 6, you take 7 minus 6, 1, 7 minus 6, 1, 7 minus 6, 1, so you'd only end up taking 3. You have a defense of 7 or more, you take nothing. So basically, it's a sort of different attack angle that they can take where there's a ton of potential damage, but fairly easily mitigated by the player putting up some solid defense. He also has the big boom attack, which is kind of cool, where basically die gets invested in that early and basically sits there for multiple turns, and then he launches a really powerful attack. So it's a big attack you can see coming, so you can sort of plan around it. But boy, does it hit hard. And we've got mindset. I love this. I love this character. She's got telekinesis and telepathy, so really cool superhero thematically. And she also has the ability to do multiple attacks, basically flinging all kinds of objects at you telekinetically. So that's the brainstorm ability. Hers does 2 attacks, so basically her attack will be applied twice. So not quite as nasty as Fuse's, but much cheaper for her to activate. She can do it with the fist and the arm, the might and the energy there. And so potential for some pretty strong attacks coming after that. She also has a nasty one to watch out for, is the psionic assault ability, which basically it costs 2 blank dice to activate, and then it counts up the total number of blank dice between mindset and the player, and that's how big the attack bonus is. So that one can get really powerful, and so you got to watch it when you're playing against mindset to make sure you're not buying too many action dice and not filling them in with faces, because then you can end up with blanks that could end up powering her abilities more. So that's kind of represents her ability to sort of get in your head and anticipate your moves. So yeah, those are the two new solo boards. We'll have them up shortly on Tabletop Simulator. And we're going to be doing an update on the rules soon. We've got the KAPOW guys have been doing a bunch of testing on it, and we have a bunch of tweaks. So we're going to be applying those rules tweaks, and then you guys can do some more testing. Basically, as they're set up, they're meant to be extremely hard. We'll probably call that hard mode in the rule book. And sort of normal mode, we're gonna basically, the player gets to choose 1 extra die when they start. So basically, if you can beat them as written, that is a big accomplishment, basically. So we'd like to try and have versions of our solo stuff that is, that is quite a challenge, not easy to win. So that it can be a kind of a hill you can climb. You can try and beat each. Can you get the accomplishment of beating each one of these guys? So anyway, that's the KAPOW stuff. Super excited about that.
Peter said he likes Fuse.
Yes, he can. And then when he's done drinking them, he turns them into bombs. Yeah,
So, and I know you have some new Sorcerer stuff.
Yeah.
While you're doing this, I'll pop up and get
Sounds
the
good.
thing we forgot in the other office. Okay.
Okay, so for Sorcerer, we have the House of Petro. This is the ritualist, really cool lineage, and this one has a bunch of neat mechanics in it. So here you can see your skill card, and you're also going to have, when you're playing this lineage, you're also going to have this temple card. And the temple card will be on the table, and basically you have a mechanic where you sacrifice cards. When a card is sacrificed, you just slide it underneath the temple card, and that will be kind of a spiritual spiritual energy that you can use to do some really cool effects. Also, you're going to get, there are 4 Loa cards that you have. Some of these versions aren't quite final, but what we're putting up on Tabletop Simulator so you guys can play it. We're going to be making some tweaks to the graphic design and such as part of the process, but you'll be able to. This gives you what you need to play. So these, I'm going to just show you both sets really quick. So these are your 4 Loa, and each turn you channel a different Loa when you're playing this lineage. So basically, you will choose one of the 4, but not the same one you had the previous turn. So you'll be switching Loa each turn, and each one gives you a different ability. For example, you could spend cards from your temple, like omens for dice rerolls. With Simbi, you can spend cards for an action. You can spend cards from the temple to heal damage from minions. Now that's a battlefield local effect, so you'd have to so you'd be healing the ones where your avatar standee is, and then you also have the ability to play minions or sorceries from graveyards, which can be quite powerful. Again, powered by the cards that are underneath your temple, and there's of course tons of beautiful artwork in the set, as always.
Creepy and beautiful.
Creepy and beautiful. It's Sorcerer, so creepy and beautiful. So for and you'll see that some of these cards will frequently have sacrifice effects. So like when destroyed, sacrifice the top card of your grimoire, and then you can sacrifice the minion. So basically various ways that cards are getting into your temple through these sacrifice effects, in addition to your skill card, which, when you're playing a minion from this faction, then you can get cards from your grimoire into your temple. So you'll be powering up your temple with various effects, and then sometimes you're able to return cards from your temple to your hand, or use those temple cards to have some powerful effects. So there's a lot of cards here, of course, because this is a lineage, and the lineage have tons and tons of cool cards in them. And Sorcerer, so some of the art is definitely on the disturbing side, but definitely really, really cool. This lineage is a lot of fun to play, and we're going to have it up on Tabletop Simulator. If it's not up yet, it will be up shortly. So Peter is clarifying sort of the flavor. So the terminology is being mounted by the Loa, and he does, and like he does with all the Sorcerer stuff, he did a lot of looking into the cultures from which the lore and such comes from, to make sure it was accurate, and very, very cool stuff. All right, so how do we?
And thanks, Monique.
Next one, sure, yeah, and
Peter's the designer of Sorcerer.
So Peter,
he's in the comments.
Peter Schultz is the designer of Sorcerer. He does the design work on all the sets. He leads the EU team, has artists and play testers and such working nonstop. And he's worked very, very hard on all this new Sorcerer content. And as always, really, really cool, fun to play, and each one very different. Like the mechanics when you're playing a different deck. Sorcerer, when you create a character, grab a character deck, a lineage deck, domain deck, shuffle them together. That's your deck for the game. And each one of those decks has its own unique personality, all kinds of cool, different stuff in the deck. And especially those lineage decks, those are your sort of style of Magic that your character uses. Those contain very strong new mechanics. So, for example, this sacrifice mechanic that's in this lineage does not exist anywhere else in the game. So basically, when you're playing this lineage, you're going to be doing something new and different, and that applies to the lineages in the base set as well. Like, for example, when you're the Blood Lord from the base set, you're a vampire and you're collecting blood and you're using it to power different abilities. We've got from the first Kickstarter, one of the Kickstarter exclusive lineages were like werewolves, and like the phase of the moon is affecting your abilities, and just all kinds of really cool mechanics. Very different, very unique every time you play. So if you have not played Sorcerer and you enjoy like the sort of fantasy horror genre, you should definitely check it out, because mechanics are super cool. And for everybody who backs Sorcerer, thank you very much. And we would love to see you playing on the Tabletop Simulator. You can check out these sets that you're going to be getting. You play them now, which is great. And also, if you play 5 or more games and give us feedback on them, you will be listed as a playtester for the new content. So that would be appreciated and awesome, and help us during these COVID times where it's hard for us to get together large groups of playtesters in person. Help us make sure that the balance is right where we want it to be. So we really appreciate everybody helping out.
Yeah, Tabletop Simulator implementations. Yeah, it's pretty easy to use once you get the hang of it. I mean, once you know the basics of how to put cards on top of each other and roll dice and shuffle. If you haven't used Tabletop Simulator, it's pretty wonky, and you got to sort of learn it. And so it's there's all kinds of weird stuff, like, if you click on a deck and you hold it and you shake it, that'll shuffle it, or you can press I think it's S for shuffle, I can't remember. But basically, there's various ways you can achieve effects in the game, but you sort of have to learn them. Once you learn them, it's pretty easy, and you can apply it to multiple games. But there is a bit of a learning curve. But once you've climbed that hill, you can play. It's pretty good implementation. And we've done a couple videos specific to our game, showing how to play it on Tabletop Simulator for Sorcerer and for KAPOW, and then on Tabletopia for Hero Realms, which we just added 3 and 4 player. That's not in the video, but just mentioning that again. And then also, I mentioned earlier, we're going to be doing virtual demos at Oshucks in Discord, using Discord, and then we'll be showing the demo on Tabletop Simulator, Tabletopia. Don't be shy about coming. If you don't know how to use Tabletop Simulator and you're like, I kind of would like to check this out, come to a demo. We can show you. Chris is awesome. He can walk you through how to use it. So you can come. There'll be voice on Discord, and the demo will be on either Tabletop Simulator or on Tabletopia, and we can walk you through how to use it. So it's a great opportunity. There'll be many publishers there sort of demoing their games, doing similar things. So I had a question on Hero Realms. So while Hero Realms isn't a major subject of today's talk, we have awesome stuff going on in Hero Realms behind the scenes. We've got the Hero Realms digital app, which is an alpha, incredibly fun, constantly making tweaks and improvements. Thank you to our alpha backers who are putting up with the updates that blow up their existing games frequently. You get make a character, level them up, gain bonuses over time, and really cool play there. And on we have a Kickstarter campaign that's going to be coming up. That one will probably be late summer time period for the Hero Realms Kickstarter. We haven't scheduled the exact date yet, but basically there was some additional cool content that we wanted to create. Up with some new designs, and I really wanted to get them in, but I wanted to get them a little further along before we did it. And really we are still in the process. Basically, a lot of the content is basically fully designed. So, for example, there's a new market deck, which is fully designed. There are a bunch of characters that are fully designed, but we're still doing some of the design and development work on things like their skill trees and their and the items that they can earn as they level up. The kind of stuff that you get in the Rune of Thandar box set for the cleric and the wizard, etc. And so one of our new characters. Yeah, here's the druid. Beautiful artwork for the druid. And so we've got it's going to have new character classes, which of course is incredibly exciting. And yeah, all the characters have 2 different artworks. So you saw both artworks for the druid there. Pretty sweet. It's going to have a new market deck, and it's also going to have a
a new, brand new adventure. Sort of like a different set of modules in the Rune of Thandar series. So this is actually, it's going to be a 12-part adventure that'll all come in one box. So you can play through play through the entire thing. And we've got new content coming in the Rune of Thandar storyline as well. So just a phenomenal amount of amazing content for Hero Realms. So when we push around like the date of when this Kickstarter is launching, that's not really slowing down when the final product is going to be ready. Basically we're continuing to work on all those things. We're getting art pieces in. We got the design teams working on the various components. Sometimes we'll rearrange the order of the Kickstarter just based on we want to do a couple more things in this one before we launch, or this one. And speaking of switching around the order of Kickstarters, we have our next Kickstarter coming up is Robot Quest Arena, which is got awesome flavor and is super fun. Basically, it's Star Realms with robots. So it's a deck building game which uses these adorable little robot miniatures. Here you're seeing an example of this is Petri, so thematically you're a kid who built a robot friend, and you go on adventures together. And the game is when you go to a city's arena and you're battling against other robots for fame and glory. The play is fast and furious and nonstop action. Basically, when you play cards, just like in Star Realms, you have a hand of 5 cards. You play them, you buy stuff, you can make attacks. But also with your energy, the resource you can buy stuff with, you can move around in the arena. So you'll have a physical board, which is kind of like a combination between a playmat. So you can see on one side we've got places for all the cards, and then a board with squares, kind of like a little chessboard there. That is the space in the arena that you can move around. You start out in the corners. Those colorful points are spawning points where you start, and you can move around. If you can get to that center area, you're going to be gaining a victory point at the start of each turn, and you're going to have specialized tiles that let you do cool stuff. So your positioning matters, and when you attack, it's based on, you have hand-to-hand attacks, which you have to be next to the other bot to make, and then you've got range attacks where you need line of sight, and they have a certain distance they can fire. So really, really cool play. And we got samples of miniatures for the game in. So these are prototypes. So basically we have the 3D designs. So we're like, okay, these are what these are going to look like. And then, of course, we want to have them physically, both so we can play through them, make sure we like the way they look, and make sure they're sturdy enough, etc. When you actually make them as real world items. But I'll try and get this guy into focus. But this is the Petri bot, so he is super cute, really fun bot here. This is here we have Pug, and here we have Crate. And there's that guy. Really well, really nice. But one of our prototypes that makes me sad. This guy is Strider, and he we need to redesign his legs because they weren't quite thick enough. So basically, while it came out, basically they printed him, it came out fine, and then in shipping, he broke. So that's one of the great things about doing this process is you learn, okay, like what in our design isn't correct. So we're going to be going through and basically thickening up the legs on this guy, and maybe adding another contact point. That's something where we'll be playing around with the design a little bit. But he does look super cool. That's what he looks like when he's together. So yeah, these are the robots that come.
Question of if the minis will be
so our plan is that the minis are going to be fully painted. So basically, looking like these. So this is the way we want them to look out of the box. We are we're getting quotes and stuff from the factory to make sure that that's going to be feasibility. But basically, one of the things we're doing with these is showing the factory, hey, we want the finals to look like this. So yes, the goal is to have the fully painted miniatures game. But that when we do launch Kickstarter, you'll be seeing all the details on that. And while the gameplay is super fun and very much in the sort of Star Realms family of deck building, fun, easy to learn, easy to play, but lots of cool room for strategy. It's the kind of game where 2 really competitive gamers, or 3 or 4, because this game is actually designed for multiplayer play, great with 4 players. In fact, when you do a 2-player game, you each are controlling 2 robots to basically keep the arena full of bots for robot versus robot carnage. The play is super fun. It's totally appropriate to play with kids, much like Star Realms is, but it's designed for to be able to withstand the super high-end competitive gamers. I don't know any of those, but as well.
Pug is my favorite.
Yeah,
also. I'll be fighting with my daughter.
Yeah, but
I'll let her be Pug. I'll have a second.
And each of these bots has unique mechanics, as well as having a cool. Okay, this is me. I can sort of you quickly identify who I am on the board. They also each have unique game mechanics for them. And the gameplay is really fun because when you attack somebody, you deal damage to them, and you just take that damage off of their card. They basically have a card for your robot where you keep your robot's health in little beads. When you take damage, you just give beads off, take 2 points of damage, take 2 beads off your card and hand it to your opponent. But it's not an elimination game. It's not like Star Realms. You're playing multiplayer Star Realms and you lose all your authority. I'm out. You guys keep playing. In this, it's kind of video game style. When you go down, you respawn just like in a video game when you go out and then you're immediately right back in the action. Same thing here. Basically, thematically, you're just really quickly doing like a pit stop and repairing your robot and jumping back in the action. So when you take that last health point off of robot, you remove that robot from the table. But when it comes around to that player's turn, they don't miss their turn or anything. They just grab a new set of health, put it on their card, and place their robot in one of those spawning points. Unless you're Pug, who has a special ability who can come in on the spawning points or in that center of the board area. So Pug can leap into the center of the board if Pug wants to. So that can be really fun. But so basically there is no pause in the action. Everybody is playing till the end. And basically the end game condition, basically after a certain number of respawns, that will trigger the end of the game, and then you count up the victory points that everybody's accumulated, and whoever got the most points wins. So it's fast and fun deck building action, and you have that sort of classic. Okay, how much am I going to concentrate on building up my engine, building up my ability to buy new cool stuff? How much am I going to concentrate on combat to get to basically knocking out other bots and grabbing victory points? But also, you also want to be concentrating on your board position. So basically there are little tiles that come in the game which do cool or bad stuff. So there's tiles where it's like, oh, it's solar panels. And if you're on this tile at the beginning of your turn, you're going to get an extra energy on your turn just for free, or other spaces that do other cool benefits for you. You kind of want to be on those squares, or if you're in the center of the board, you're getting a free victory point every turn. Great spot to be. So if you could just sit on your spawn point and spend all your energy buying new cards, but you're probably going to want to move around to take advantage of some of those things. And also some of your attacks, you're going to want to move into position to be able to make them. So you've got that combination of building your engine, delivering damage to gain victory points, and then also moving around, positioning yourself in the arena. Fast, really fun. If you like Star Realms, you're probably going to like Robot Quest. So Yes. So basically, some of the cards in the deck cause your opponent to be pushed away from you. There's even a grappling hook, which is super fun, where you can like shoot somebody up to 4 spaces away and drag them to the square in front of you. That can be really fun if you got big hand-to-hand attacks. And those things can also be really useful if there are beneficial or harmful squares. So like maybe there's a square with tax in it, and when you enter that square, you take damage. You could like stand next to it, grappling hook your opponent, yank them over to you. They land in that square, take some damage from that, and maybe you finish them off with a hammer or some wacky thing. So that can be a lot of fun. You can also push other robots, even if you don't have any weapon cards in your hand. For 1 movement, you can move for 1 energy, which you can use to buy cards. You can also use that to move your robot 1 square on the board. For 2 energy, you can push a robot that's next to you, and that will push them directly away from you out of the square they're in into the next square over, and you move into the square they're in. Or if they would hit something, like if you push them into a square with another robot, they don't move, and instead both those robots take a point of damage. Or if you push them into a wall, the robot that you pushed into the wall would take a point of damage. So basically, you can push people around. There's both through regular movement effects or through effects of the cards, and that's one of the really fun elements.
Yeah, and we had a question if we think we'll do an app for Robot Quest. Robot Quest actually is designed by a mobile game company.
Exactly. Yeah. So this
Perfect
one,
day.
This is a really neat partnership.
Yeah, so they're working on a mobile game. So there will be a mobile game that's Robot Quest. It won't be exactly the same as Robot Quest Arena, but it'll be in the same world. It'll be Robot Arena battles. It'll be more like the actual robots running around in the app and battling each other, as opposed to a card game in the app. So right now we don't have plans to do a card game based app, but we haven't ruled it out.
It's possible there may be a direct implementation video game at some point, like we have with Star Realms and Epic Card Game, and it's coming for Hero Realms. But one of the reasons why this world has so much cool stuff going on in it is the team that is making this video game basically spent a huge amount of time creating this world. Yes. And these robots. They got, the artist James has just come out with just all kinds of cool, awesome, beautiful art in this, and obviously stylistically wildly different from our other stuff like Sorcerer, but awesome artwork nonetheless. And so the world is very rich, a lot of cool stuff in it, and that was a great sort of leaping off point for this physical board game.
Yeah, so we're excited about that too. Any last questions? I think we've answered all the questions that have come up.
Yeah, and thanks for joining us late, by the way, everyone.
Thank you, everyone. All right, well, thank you. We'll see you next week. Bye. Bye.